This is BOiBOX, our London-based drag king cabaret showcase. I'm Adam All, and I run BOiBOX with my gorgeous girlfriend, Miss Apple Derrieres.
BOiBOX stage is exclusively for drag kings. We bloody love them. And our audiences are spoiled with a broad and varied spectrum of drag king performances.
BOiBOX was launched in 2013 and has been instrumental in the growth of the drag king scene here in the UK ever since. We have 3 nights all across London every month, and each one is themed, which gives the kings a chance to show off what they can do. This series will feature some of our favourite and most regular kings as they pop round mine for a proper chat. So let's hop in the box and see who's on the throne. Welcome to In the Box. We're chatting to Calvin Decline. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good. We're having a little sip of our drinks.
Yes.
It's becoming tradition already. Oh, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You're a big BOiBOX favourites, of course. Oddly appropriate today.
Well.
So, Calvin. You weren't always Calvin.
No, I wasn't always Calvin.
What happened before Calvin?
Well, I started out as Cal Dreamy, actually about a year ago, from 2 days from now, I believe.
Oh, right, so it's Calvin's birthday as well this week?
Calvin's birthday is this week, yeah.
Fantastic.
And I went on stage as Cal Dreamy, thinking that it was a nice play on California Dreamin', because I am, of course, from California.
How did you get into it in California, or was it not till you came over here?
I was a musician, and so being on stage was actually horrifying for me.
What did you play? I didn't know
French horn.
French horn?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, at some point we need to start a drag band, because I played sax, and I'm pretty certain I know a trumpeter, so
yeah, you know,
no way.
Keen for that. But I was going to say, I actually got into theatre because I took an acting class because I was so nervous whenever I auditioned for like classical gigs. I took an acting class, and then I fell in love with theatre, and that's how I ended up going to London.
Wow! So to help you with your confidence?
Yeah. I took the acting class thinking this will help me with my stage presence. I'll be less nervous in auditions, and then now I'm performing as a drag king in London. So something happened.
Fabulous. Tell us about the Man Up journey.
I found out about the first Man Up through my friends who were drag queens who had participated in the Lip Sync 1000 competition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, under both Rodent Decay's advice and the advice of another queen, Ginger Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I started like moving into something that actually, when I did an act, I had to think about what it meant and what it was doing.
Yeah, what you're saying.
And I did an act that was about me being sexy, but it was kind of about like the idea that there's a demand for people to be sexy, like a need for people to be confident, a need for that. And I don't know that that's necessary. I don't think we need to be confident. I don't think we need to be sexy. It's not always something that needs to happen. So I was trying to do an act that sort of addressed what I thought was an issue in terms of the pressure that we have to be good looking, and because my character has always been a male model, whether Cal Dreamy or Calvin Decline, I kind of think that that's a sort of the highest level of what we expect people to look like is, and the pressure that we put on like people in society to obtain like good looks, which is not something that can always be like obtained in the sense that society expects them to be obtained in.
Yeah.
Then I contacted you guys at BOiBOX, cheekily being like, this is you have a pants themed night?
Well, I have to say, this is exactly how we like it to happen. We do like people to just drop us a note and say, hey, can I come and join in?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, by the way, that's how we do it. If you want to come and play, you just give us a nod. And we were really pleased to have you. It's also for us an indication of the growing scene, so when people sort of drop out of the woodwork occasionally. I do think that drag is as a socio-political tool is really important at times like this.
Yeah. I was saying to my friends, I think the one positive you can always see when and I mean maybe this is hasty, but in times of political tragedy, I think art always tends to respond in a way that is a positive force. I think some of the best art comes from the worst periods of time. And not that makes it a positive. It's not a net positive. I'd rather have shit art and, like, good things for people. But sometimes under duress you come up with the best sort of work. And so I think the drag scene, in response to needing to address the political issues that are happening across the world, so the rise of right-wing nationalism are probably going to inspire a lot of great drag artists, because gender expression is usually one of the first things that's limited in a society.
Absolutely.
That needs to be regimented. Rules and regimentation generally tend to affect the minorities who break those rules.
Yeah, people who are restricted. And they'll start fighting, shouting louder, and we'll see more of it.
Yes. And more subversion of the boundaries, hopefully. I mean, again, it's not something I want to suggest that is a positive outcome, but at least it is something that we could look forward to.
I'm going to say, as members of the LGBTQI community, I think we can safely say we ain't gonna shut up.
No, of course not. But continuing on my journey to man up, as we were discussing before I got sidetracked by any political tangent that I could make, I watched a lot of Calvin Klein underwear ads, and I watched a lot of Calvin Klein perfume ads, and I watched a lot of perfume ads from other companies, and eventually started just watching underwear ads, because I sort of realised I think Calvin Klein is an amateur male underwear model.
I was going to say, is it just like porn? No.
I mean, that is, we won't get into that. But,
back in the room, we're back in the room.
Sorry, I'm distracted. So I started watching those, and at the same time I was in a master's degree, doing a master's in theatre and performance studies, and I was in a performance course with Stacey Mikishi and Lois Weaver, who are both sort of fairly significant feminist performance artists, and they were helping me kind of develop the ideas behind, or the intention behind, the performance. And the aesthetic and the idea of you really do have to create the whole package.
Yeah.
And I think I was kind of well, I'll pick a little bit from each section. So I had a little bit of the makeup and a little bit of the look and a little bit of the act, but I didn't unite all three.
But I do think that we all go on a journey. I think we all start at a place. I've got promo photos that I still use where I'm using half the makeup I use now.
Yeah.
And it's just a process of learning what works for you, but also you almost become a caricature of a caricature of a caricature of a caricature of yourself. It's like being inside your own Russian doll.
It is. But it's interesting to unfold every layer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I kept working on that act, and I kept revising it, and I kept adding in and tinkering and thinking about what it could mean, and I changed the quotes at the beginning, and it is Calvin Klein speaking, and I'm not always sure if people get it. I'm not always sure if they know that it's Calvin Klein.
I mean, women were an accessory for the man. They looked, there were lots of jewelry, there were lots of ruffles, and it was all to make the man feel good about the way women looked.
And I'm not always sure if they know that then the guy speaking next is Mark Wahlberg when he's doing Marky Mark as a Calvin Klein model.
Yeah.
Next question. Oh, the best protection against AIDS is to keep your Calvins on. Now that, devil come between me and my Calvins.
And so it's this whole mock together bit, and I finally had edited it to a place where I was quite happy with it. So I had performed it at BOiBOX, then I performed it at the Marlborough, then I performed it in my class, and then I performed it again at the Marlborough, and I came... Well, I don't really know if there's places. I didn't win. Benjamin Butch won, and I'm very proud of him and very pleased for him. And he totally deserved it, and his act was flawless. And Susie's, we all have our eye on Susie. So
we do.
I realized there that I hadn't been putting enough work into my act. And not that, it's always subjective, I think, and it's really weird to compete with drag.
It is very weird because it's art, it's subjective.
It's art, it's subjective. I mean,
Why did you choose that specifically as the angle that you were going to go down?
When I thought about the way that male models are viewed versus the way that female models are viewed, I think male models have more power in their objectification. If you see a male model in a magazine, they're very often very much directly staring at the camera, and that gives them power, in my mind. I think they're owning the gaze of the viewer. They get a chance to re-engage. Women are very often looking to the side, looking down. They're behind men very frequently in ad copy. Or if they're in front of the man, they're kind of turning away, or his arms are wrapped around her, or any number of other positions which suggest that she is subservient to him, in the terms of like the binary gender that tend to exist in contemporary magazines. And I think that I'm kind of using my body as a tool where I want the audience to objectify me, because I think that in a way, by their objectification of me as a woman, and comparing that to how they objectify me as a drag king or as a representation of masculinity, they're kind of complicit in the systems of power that make it so that when I'm being objectified as a woman, it's very different. And I think it is. And I purposely kind of drive that by the baby oil, by like removing the makeup, where I'm still very much Calvin, even when I'm naked. And I think that plays with the idea that there's a difference.
But it also plays with the concept of what a drag king is. And you come to this point where you have completely reclaimed your masculinity away from this thing which is supposed to be untouchable masculinity that we're not allowed to claim as female-bodied people.
Yes.
And gone, do you know what? All this time, you were wrong. And claiming it and saying, yeah, and I'm still strong in that, and that doesn't make me less than, and that's really empowering.
There's the layer as well where I think, you know what, I'm a masculine woman, even when I'm out of drag. And one of the things that I always wanted to touch on was, at what point am I a drag king? You know, is it when I put on the suit? Is it when I bind my tits? Is it, I mean, to be frank, is it when is it when I put on the beard? Is it when I put on the eyebrows? At what point am I a drag king? Because is it when you can mistake me for a man? Because that happens to me all the time, and I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, all the time.
You know, and
public toilets are hilarious.
Yeah. And I think, yes, masculine females or masculine female-bodied people, or people who are interested in masculinity as an expression of their gender, have a lot to say about it. I think people who are interested in femininity as an expression of their gender also have a lot to say about masculinity, because currently its dominance in society means that it affects everyone. The voice that I portray is not a voice of everyone, but I am trying to make sure it's a conscious voice, a politically conscious voice.
I just wanna be a woman.
You are the Man Up winner 2016. It's helpful to have that little boost that you get from a title. I don't have any titles, none at all. Well, famously never won a thing.
But you've won the place of my heart, first in my heart.
Next time I go on stage, I'm going to be announced as that. I'm going to be Adam Orr has won a place in the heart of Calvin Decline, winner of Man Up 2016.
I mean, it's the best title, actually.
I think it is. I think it is the best title. I do feel that there's a little essence with drag kings that we don't necessarily like to compete very much, and I think that that's,
well, why would we?
It's kind of universal.
Yeah.
As a brotherhood, as it were, we as a family, we like to move together as one, and I think that I think that we do work together quite well. It's not forward moving. It's not productive. Man Up was forward moving and it was productive.
Yeah, there
100%.
was. Yeah, I would have been happy to participate in it even if I hadn't won. I mean, I was happy to participate in it knowing that the previous time I'd only got knocked out in the heat. Doing the Beaver BOiBOX.
Oh yeah, brilliant! Yeah, this is fantastic. We can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you your spin on old Mr. Beaver.
Oh, all the beeves.
Oh, the beeves.
The beeves. Good
Are
old
you a
beeves.
believer? Are you? No. So.
No. Yeah.
Calvin, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you so much for getting me absolutely battered. You can catch Calvin at Bar Whatever in a couple of weeks, and of course at many of our BOiBOX events. Thank you so much, Calvin Decline.
thank you.
See you later. Bye.